Hey guys, welcome back to Garage Force Restos. It's time to dig into the metal work on this Duster. We're going to start with the front end, and in this episode we're going to pull off the front bumper and both front fenders and take a look at what we've got to work with. Let's dig in. Okay, I want to get both these front fenders off, but to do so I've got to take this front bumper off and possibly some other things, but I'm hoping it's just the front bumper, and then we can detach it from the rad support, this valance here, and of course all the fasteners on the inner apron and cowl area. So let's get dig into it. So the plan is to take off the fender brace here and here, get that off, and then my hope is that I'll be able to take both of these bolts for the bumper bracket, two on each side, off, and the bumper should slide off. And that should be the easiest way for me to approach this. I've already lubed them up with some WD-40. I hope these aren't going to be a bear, but I'm prepared for that. Let's get it going. Okay, let's see what I can break. Okay, well, that wasn't so bad. Now, let's try these main bolts for the bumper bracket. Okay. Wow, I did not expect that. Okay. Oh yeah, I need an extension for that one. Get on there. Need my hammer. Some of these bolts have some undercoating, so oh boy. Okay. Wow, I just did not expect. This car continues to make me happy. Yeah, okay. Light bit of corrosion, but not really that bad, really, given that's a 50-year-old bolt, and this has probably never come off in its life. Okay, other side. Okay, let's see what this side has to offer. So far, so good. Okay, now these bezels need to come off, and possibly the headlight too. We certainly need to disconnect the wiring to the headlight. So we'll take this bezel off and let's see what we're looking at underneath here to determine how far we got to go. But definitely the bezel has to come. And probably that headlight. Because the bucket of the headlight is attached to the fender. So thus. Oh, that's great. This grill is trash. We'll just put the hardware back in so we're not losing that. Okay, yeah. I think we're going to have to pull the headlight to get at the plug for the back of it, and that will allow us then, I think, to get access to everything else and slide the fender out. So to do that, just 3 screws to take off this stainless steel retainer. You don't need to take the screws all the way off. You'll see why in a minute if you haven't done this before. You take the stainless steel retainer and you spin it clockwise, and then it comes right out like that. Screws stay on. All right. Now the bucket can go with the fender. That is going to give us better access to the 2 bolts that secure the valance to the fender. You'll recall this fairly sizable dent that we've got in this fender, and my hope was that I'd be able to get access to it from the inside, but it's double walled, so I'm not going to be able to, without cutting an access hole here, get access to this side of the fender to push out. So yeah, 2 things are going to have to happen. Either I cut an access hole and weld that back up after, so I can pound from this side to push that dent out, or I've got to use a slide hammer and weld in some studs here so that I can pull that back out. Not going to worry about that right now, but if I'm going to use the slide hammer to pull, then I'm probably going to want to put this fender back on the car, at least with a few bolts, so that I can use the weight of the car to hold the fender in place while I reshape this. Just something that I'm noticing now. I should have known that would be double walled, but I forgot or just wasn't thinking clearly. And so anyway, that's a problem for later. Let's keep going. So what we've got now are a row of bolts all along the top of the fender. Those all have to come out. Those look like all 1/2 inch with a 7/16 here. Often these fenders are seam sealed underneath, so that might be a bit tricky. We'll might need to use a pry bar to get this off the inner apron. And as I said here, 2 bolts down here. So let's start with this top side, get that done, and we'll go from there. Okay. Want to be stubborn, do you? Gotta be careful here too. I don't want to get too rammy. I want to reuse all of these bolts because they're the factory correct bolts. So now we're going to move down with the top done. We're going to move down to this inner valance area. Let's get those off. All right, hard to get you in there for these 2 bolts, but I'll go ahead and get them off. Oh, this one's problematic. I can feel it binding up already. We're gonna get some lube on that. And it's probably got undercoating on it, which is the worst. Just gonna keep working it back and forth. A little bit more lube on. Hard to say, but still good. Just certainly some good corrosion there. Okay, now, all right, so we're good on this now. Okay, so now we'll put these in our bag. Now we have 2 more bolts up front that we need to come off. All right, 2 more here. So we've got 1/2 inch right there and 1/2 inch down there. That should completely free the fender on the front, and then we'll get to the back. Let me get these 2 off and we'll go. Okay, those 2 front bolts are out. Good to go there. All the hardware is now removed from the front and top of the fender. So we're good. It's not freed up. It's not moving at all, and that is because of that seam sealer that's in between this top ledge here. That's going to be a pain. We'll get to that in a minute. First, we've got to, or I should say next, we have to work on the fasteners that are left here at the back of the fender. We've got this one here, 2 that are down here, here and here, and right here, one you can't see, is a stud and a nut. A nut comes up this way from underneath, and there's a stud in here that we've got to free up. And the only way to get to that one, well, there's 2 ways. If the door was off, you could come in this way and get it. We're not going to do that. So what we're going to do is take off the inner fender well, this piece right here. And that's going to be a lot of fun because the 2 or 3 bolts that are holding that in are covered in what looks to be a 1/2 inch of undercoating. So fun. Well, let's do what we can. Let's start with this. We'll get the 2 on the bottom and we'll go from there. Okay, all lubed up. Let's see how bad this is going to be. Okay. I mean, if anyone's going to be corroded, it's going to be this one. A lot of resistance there. I'm going to go back in. And back out. This is why, for this part of the process, I don't like using power tools. Because you need to, if you're going to save your fasteners, both the U-nuts and the bolts themselves, you got to feel the tension and react accordingly. Yeah, quite a bit of corrosion on that one. Wow. Needs a serious cleanup. It should be reusable though. Okay, now for the ones that I'm terrified about. Well, there's a few that I'm terrified about, but let's move on to the ones at the bottom of the fender. Okay, let's see what kind of damage we can do with these 2. Yeah, see, it broke the U-nut in the back. Gonna have to vice grip that. These ones face so much corrosion. I have a bunch of these U-nuts. The main thing I wanted to save are these nuts here. They do reproduce something similar, but it's not the same. And those are the kind of details, although I'm not going for a concourse build here, I just like it to look like it's more factory than not when it comes to these fasteners. And oh gosh, yeah. Yeah, all good. Some pretty heavy corrosion there, but very reusable. Okay, bottom of the fender should be out. And now you'll see these spacers. And I'm glad I'm catching this on video because I want to remember that's how many spacers are in the bottom of the fender. There'll be spacers. That one's different spacing. There'll be other spaces at the top of the fender that we'll have to go for. And these are the U-nuts that broke. You can see how they broke right off. This is the corrosion here, but again, they do reproduce this, and I have a few from the last two builds that I can use, but where I can, I'll reuse what came off the car. Okay, so the bottom of the fender is good. Now we've got to move on to that inner fender so I can get access to the one remaining bolt on the fender. Okay, I think I've got access now to the 4 bolts that hold on this inner splash shield, which comes as far as that on the firewall. There's a line there. It's covered up because of the undercoating, but I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but it basically runs up this line here. Now at the top, there's one there, and then there's one up there. These are going to be trouble. Let's give it a shot. Oh, okay, that one. Okay, let's hope they're all like that. Okay, 7/16 came out okay. Actually in good shape too. Amazing. Giddy up. Now let's get a 3/8. And let's see if I can get these off. Pretty pleased. Oh, okay. I thought that was going to be a lot worse. Yeah, this one's going to be a problem. Yep. Okay. Didn't like the sound of that. But it came out. But the nut, I think it's a U-nut on the back of it. It's not in good shape, so that'll be a problem. But now, this inner fender, sorry, this splash shield should be something that will come off now. Let's see if I can pry. It's basically glued on here with undercoating. Wow. I don't think I'm missing a nut, am I? Oh, I am, aren't I? Look at that. There's one more right there. That's what's happening. Okay. There's one more right there. I just chiseled off the undercoating. All right, let's get that off. There we go. Now we're in business. And the inner splash shield. Might even be savable, because the bottom is okay. And again, in the spirit of not going too crazy with AMD sheet metal, this piece here would be very easy to make. So I think we're going to be happy with that. Put that aside. Now, hopefully that's given us access, and it has. Hopefully you can see that nut up there, which looks like it's got no corrosion. So I'm going to throw some WD-40 on that, and we're going to give her. That's the last fastener. Let's go. That's the last fastener on the fender. I'll take it back up there. You can see what went on. You can see that stud coming down there. There will likely be a spacer in between the fender and the cowl brace or bracket that comes out there. So all that's left now is to fight with the adhesive that's remaining on this fender that is bonding it basically to the inner fender well. Let's get that going. Okay, we're going to try a little bit of force to see if we can lift this up. Wow. I do not want to wreck the fender in the process. Come on. There we go. There we go. Come on, girl. Am I missing one up here? Oh, yeah, this wire. Come on. Okay, yep. Forgot something. Just the wire for the marker light is still attached to the fender. Not the connector for the marker light itself, but the wire that runs along inside the fender. Okay, we're free now. Now the aerial, which I'm going to cut off. All right, let me get you over here. There it is. She's off. I'll get you a good look at the inside of that fender in a second, but let's, for the moment, have a look here. You can see the adhesive right here. Look, I mean, that's going to clean up real nice. There's just a lot of adhesive on this still, but that's going to clean up real nice. And then have a look over here. Let me get you in closer. All right, rocker in great shape. Underneath here, all that. Very happy with that. Given some of the cars I've worked on, the Charger, it was all rotted up here. All back in here is nice. Oh, extra piece of seam sealer. Cowl is full of crap. That'll be a good chance to clean up that. Otherwise, yeah, this is the piece I've got to repair, and I'm telling you, that won't be too bad. We'll get this undercoating off, and we'll put a new piece in and replace all of that, and we'll be good. All right, let's have a look at the fender itself. Okay, so we know all about that damage, so we're going to deal with that. But along the front, it's all good here. All really good here. Lips are really good on this fender. Solid, solid, solid. And then we've got our problem area back here. But I have to say, let's flip it over, because the brace here is actually in good shape. Yes, it's got a hole here, but I can probably fix that. Let's flip it over. Let's have a better look. Okay, back side of the fender. It's all looking good. And then here's where things get a little dicey, but seriously, I can repair that. This is really still good, solid steel. So I'm gonna have this I'm gonna give this a real once over, and I got to clean it up. You see, I've got weakness here. We'll have to create a section here for sure. So I've got to make a decision. Do I buy AMD replacement lower fender dog legs and brace, which are not cheap. They don't make them anymore, but those that still have them in stock, they're 155, if I recall, on eBay, with another like $80 in shipping or something ridiculous. I'll put the ad up in the top right corner here. It's just ridiculous. That would ship it to Maine, where I can go and pick it up at the border. Um, I think it's Sherman or some other Econo brand of sheet metal, does a piece, not including the brace, but does the sheet metal piece for the dog leg, that I think could be an option too. They're much cheaper, and I think they're available in Summit. I'll throw that up in the top corner as one of my options. Or the other option that I'm going to seriously consider is just building it myself, fabbing it up. Given that I have enough to work with here, let's take a look at the rest. You can see, although it's dirty, all the lips here are in great shape. Just got to be cleaned up. Really, really happy. All in here is good. Yeah. This fender is definitely savable. Okay. Happy. If you've seen the episode where I did the deep clean outside of this thing and power washing it underneath, I spent hours power washing all the cracks and crevices of this car that I could get into. And yet this was what was just left in the passenger side fender well area that didn't come clean. It's just all packed in there, and I still have more to get out of the cowl area there. Nuts. All right. Come on over and we'll have a look at this thing together. Well, again, this rocker, really good shape. Really solid. Really happy with that. Everything else looks in order back here. Same issue up here. Cowl is clogged. We're gotta clean this out. Otherwise, it's just gonna create moisture. Well, rust, but it'll lock in the moisture and create the rust. Same issue over here on this here. If I had to guess, it might be a little worse than the other one. So it's going to need a pretty good sized piece replacement in here. It looks like this brace that comes out is mostly savable, but you can see it's a little corroded here. These are two pieces that are spot welded together, so we're going to have to save that, because this is an important mounting point there for the fender. We'll get to that, but otherwise, looks good up in here. I mean, look at that, eh? Like that, this car, it's in great shape. Okay, so let's have a look at the fender. Inner fender brace in just great shape. The bottom, really very happy with that. I do not have to order anything for this fender. It looks like underneath, some light surface rust there. Quite a bit of work to do to take that undercoating off, but fender overall is in Just fantastic shape. You can see great lips. Nice lips! All around. Yeah, really good. Light surface rust here, but no loss of strength. It's not scaly, just light surface rust. And then of course around here, it's all good. Metalwork, and then removal of this undercoating, and then a sandblast, epoxy prime, and then bodywork. This fender's going to be excellent. We know we got work down here to do. Again, I don't think that's going to be a big issue. It'll be a few hours on that to get it right, but I can fix that. Happy with that overall. Definitely I did not want to have to buy new fenders. I had to put new fenders on the Charger because, well, it didn't come with them. So they must have been far gone when the previous owner gave up on that Charger project. So that's the state of things. Oh, the inner fender splash shield for the driver's side. Bottom, all good. Surprisingly, where it's worst is up top. And well, maybe not surprisingly, what's happened here is there's this rubber, well, it's like another rubber shield. It goes up there, although it was all undercoated, locks in the moisture in this top part of the metal, and it just ate it through. The rest of this fender shield, splash shield, pardon me, is fine. So I'm going to have to put a new piece in here. Probably, if I had to guess, it's going to be a piece that goes right across like this. It'll be a little tricky with these complex bends. So it'll be two pieces at least, one piece here and then one piece here before I get to good metal. But otherwise, this is savable, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to save it. I'm not going to buy a new one. If they were $15, yeah, but I haven't looked at the price, but I'll bet you those are probably $50 to $75. And come on, give me a break. I think I can fix that. If they were $20, I'd just buy new ones. I'll look them up and make sure before I do the repair, but I highly doubt anything Mopar related like that is $20. They're probably $100 each. When I put this video together, I'll look it up and I'll put it in the top corner. That way we'll all know how much they're worth. So there we go. I'm just going to brace this back up to the car with some tie wraps to keep it secure, because right now it's kind of dangling. But as it is, still the car is fully drivable. So again, just makes it nice. If I want to back it out, have more space to do the metal work, it can sit outside while I'm working on this stuff. Well, there we go. Well, that's going to do it for this episode, guys. Thanks for watching. Come back next week, and we're going to start to dig into the metalwork on these fenders. Until then, keep wrenching. Cheers.